This is a presentation of Hooligan Championship Wrestling.
Welcome, everybody, as Hooligan Championship Wrestling presents the Hot Tag Hooligans Wrestling Podcast Show with myself, Aaron, and Tom. And joining us tonight, he's a hooligan just like myself and Tom. It's Aaron Silvers, and he's back as we dive into Money in the Bank that is happening this Saturday night. How's it going, guys?
Hey, going great. Yeah, really good.
Tom is stuck in a cage of some
I
sorts.
am.
It looks like he is really ready for Money in the Bank. Kind of went all out with the back stage graphic there. And Tom, both of y'all are actually sporting new Hooligan Championship Wrestling shirts. Tom got the Hooligan Bigfoot, and Aaron's got
Yep.
the Hooligan Championship Wrestling pocket tee, and on the back, of course, has the Hooligan Championship Wrestling emblem. Right now, starting tomorrow, big sale at PWT's, 20% off. We've got it listed on our Facebook page, the code to use for that, and you can save 20% off until I think it is July the 5th, correct?
Yep.
And so pick yourself up some merchandise. But before we dive fully into everything with the Money in the Bank, it has been a very long time, and we do want to apologize to everyone since we had been on with one of our podcasts. We took this little adventure called Hooligan Championship Wrestling, took a chance, launched our promotion with the Jerry Lawler Wrestling Legends Reunion weekend in Evansville, Indiana, and we had Ascending the Queendom. And guys, couldn't be happier or prouder of the event, and that has allowed us to now run more events.
It's an exciting time.
Definitely. Awesome show to be a part of, and an awesome group of folks and talent to deal with, too. It was awesome all around, everything. Crowd reacted awesome, too.
The reception to that show has been fantastic. Congratulations to our women's world champion, Maggie Lee, who defeated Shauna Reed on that show. And over 7.1 thousand views of our show as of this moment on YouTube. So it's great.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good for the first show.
Yeah, pretty good. And not only that, but it's also on IWTV. We have licensed that out to IWTV, and the reception on there has been great as well. If you have not checked that out, Masha Slamovich versus Erica Demia in the main event, and that was a great matchup. All three of our main events were fantastic. We had three main events on that card. And then, of course, the rest of the action was very good as well. I think everyone, you're always kind of wondering right now. You always hear the backlash about an all-women show, but Evansville, Indiana, that weekend was very receptive to that. And we have been in talks with a lot of other areas right now as well, asking us when can we bring an all-women show to their area, and we are diligently working on that as we speak. And we'll talk more about HCW before we end, because we do have another show coming up on September the 14th, and we kind of want to let everyone know a little bit about that show as well. But Money in the Bank, Saturday. The build to this has been a little bit wonky, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of stuff has been a little bit rushed. And it's been rushed because they had the Clash at the Castle kind of in between. It seems like WWE is throwing a couple more of these PLEs into the mix right before each pay-per-view that means something. And Money in the Bank is a pay-per-view that means something. I know it's not one of the big four, but when you look at Money in the Bank, it sets up a lot of storylines possibly for WrestleMania season, typically, because you never know who's going to cash in and when they're going to cash in. So let's start this off. with the men's Money in the Bank match. Okay, so we have in the men's Money in the Bank match, everyone has qualified for it. Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. So a lot of people's first Money in the Bank that they're being a part of. It seems like a pretty good group of competitors in this men's. But I feel like the lackluster here, unless they could always go with some kind of surprise winner. There are some people that I think don't have a shot at winning this. Uh, there's a lot of storylines playing in going into SummerSlam right now that could affect this as well. But we'll start with you, Aaron. Who is your pick for that match?
Yeah, so a lot of cool things that can go on with this. I can tell you, my overall pick is going to be Jay. Jay going into this is literally white hot right now. I mean, you watch any Raw right now, and that crowd is eating that up. The dance and the music, everything that he's doing with crowd involvement and just really getting going. He, like I said, white hot right now. Got to go with Jay. I feel like involved in this match. I think we're going to see Carmelo Hayes probably have one of his breakout performances on the main roster this weekend. I think we'll really see him shine, and also I think we're going to see probably Punk cost Drew in this match. Punk's going to make his return, if I had to guess, and cost Drew, and then of course set up some things here on the next PLE. So that's my thought. We'll go with Jay.
Yeah, I'm a lot like you on this one. There's definitely some that I don't think have a chance. But Jay's the one to me that makes the most sense out of what's going on in their storylines or lack of storylines. And there's no way Drew McIntyre wins that match because we know this feud with CM Punk is ongoing. And what a perfect way for it to keep going is for him to cost him in that match. So I agree with you on that point. I really truly believe that's going to happen. And then Jay just makes sense unless they want to do something they've done in the past many times at Money in the Bank, and it's put it on somebody that kind of comes out of left field. And I could see them doing this just for that shock value and giving it to somebody like Andrade, that there's no way that it would make sense for him to win that match with what's been going on storyline wise. But I have that in the back of my mind too, that if they want to do something that's just shocking, that's what the route that they would go. But my gut feeling is it's going to be Jay, and you're going to have a face with the Money in the Bank briefcase this time.
So, as much as I want it to be Jay, I do think it is going to be Drew. And the one reason why is because I think a lot of people think that Punk's going to cost him, but I think Punk's going to cost him on the cash in instead. I could very easily see this match maybe opening the show, Drew winning, and then sometime later on in the night, Drew trying to cash it in the world title match, and then that's when Punk cost him again. Or who knows? Maybe Drew does win it, and it is Punk versus Drew at SummerSlam for the title. So I'm going to go with Drew. I know it's not the hot pick right now. I would rather it be Jay. I do think LA Knight's out, and I don't think he deserves it, to be honest with you. I know he's getting a little bit more reaction, but they're really setting up him and Logan Paul, and that seems like the direction that they're going to go with that. So I'll go with Drew. Shockingly enough this time, even though I do want it to be Jay. So, all right. I do feel like we're going to have a new Intercontinental Champion. I do feel like Braun Breaker is going to beat Sami Zayn. I've really liked what they've done with Braun Breaker since he's got on the main roster. It does seem like he is somebody that they are looking to push going into this Netflix deal. He's really edgy with his violence, and I expect this to continue as the Netflix deal comes, because once it's on Netflix, it's going to be game on. There's going to be all types of stuff that's going to happen. I like the storyline that they built, that he wasn't in the King of the Ring. He was mad about it. He took matters into his own hand. And now here's the match with Sami. And I think this will be a great chance for Braun to get elevated here. So I'm gonna pick Braun Breaker. Tom.
Uh, I think Braun Breaker should beat Sammy, but I think something's going to happen to where Sammy ends up retaining that title. I just, I feel like it's too quick. I mean, I do realize that Braun has been fed a bunch of, squash matches and things like that, but I just think it's too early for him to win that title without beating some real competition consistently. Um, I think it's going to be a showcase match for him. But I also look at Sammy versus Gunther, and all of it went into that, and him to be able to overcome Gunther. And I just look at the difference between Braun Breaker and Gunther, and I just don't think Braun Breaker is um, mentally ready for that. I think he's too much of a hothead still in the state that he's in. I think he's going to get excited and cause himself potentially to lose that match, even though he should be able to destroy Sami Zayn.
Aaron?
Yeah, so Aaron, I really hope you're right on this one. I'm hoping Braun walks out with this also. It kind of worries me on last night's episode of Raw, how they kind of made it seem like he doesn't have a chance now. He's like, of course, Sammy coming out the victor is what it looked like coming out of Raw, which kind of worried me. But I'm really hoping it's Braun for a few reasons. But the most important one is, he's got a lot of momentum going right now. And I'd hate to see that halted by a loss at a PLE that's coming up this weekend. It's just, it's too much for him to lose, if that makes sense, this weekend, in my opinion.
All righty. So the World Heavyweight Championships on the line. Damian Priest versus Seth freaking Rollins. Seth, of course, returned a couple weeks ago. There's a lot of mistrust going on right now in the Judgment Day. I do think Priest has done a pretty good job so far. I like the fact that Judgment Day is getting a lot of attention now on Raw in a good way. I hated it for months last year because them just saying that they run the show. There's actually storylines built into the Judgment Day now with the whole Liv Morgan and Dominic, Rhea Ripley. Does Priest actually need them? Are they getting tired of Priest? I like all that, but I do think there will be a cash in here. Like I said, somewhere between, and I think Priest is going to retain this title. I think McIntyre's going to come out, try to cash in. Punk's going to cause the, you know, distraction. Priest is going to pin McIntyre. Okay, so Seth's still not going to get pinned. And then I think at SummerSlam, it'll be Gunther versus Priest versus Rollins in a triple threat match because Gunther automatically gets the shot. Okay, they'll somehow play it up that Seth was never pinned. And that's how they'll go with that. So I will pick Damian Priest retaining the title. Aaron.
Well, I kind of, for part of the reason that you mentioned with the Judgment Day and where they're going with, a potential of being tired of Priest in that group, I'm having a feeling that something's going to happen with Dominic and Liv that's going to cause Priest this match. I can see Rollins walking away with this. It can set up a few different possibilities down the road, but I really firmly believe I think it's going to be a drop here where the Judgment Day somehow cost Priest, and we're going to start seeing even more of the demise of that group, or at least the demise of him being a part of that group. So I'm going to go with Rollins on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you, Aaron. I think Rollins takes the title here. I think there's just so much story that is to be told if Priest loses the title than if he wins it. I just think there's more meat on the bone there after the match is over with. So I'm thinking Rollins comes out with it.
I can see what you guys are saying. I think Gunther should be the next world champion. So
I
I just find it hard for Rollins to win it and then drop it a month or so from now to Gunther.
could see
I think Gunther should win it at SummerSlam.
Seth and Gunther. I could see them putting on a hell of a show if it ended up being them at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I think it's a little underrated there.
Yeah, I just don't see Rollins coming back and then dropping a belt again in a month. It's the only problem with that.
But it could end up still being a triple threat match at SummerSlam, and Rollins doesn't have to lose for Gunther to win the title.
Could be.
That's true. That's true. Are we all on the Gunther should be the next world champion in a way? Should be the world champion
in the
this
near
year.
future.
Yeah,
Definitely in the near future.
for sure.
All right. Let's flip over to the women's Money in the Bank match. A little bit different here. A lot of newbies to the Money in the Bank. Of course, EO, she's won it before. You've got Chelsea Green in there. You got Lyra Valkyrie. You got Tiffany Stratton. You got Naomi. And you got Zoe Stark. You got a lot of athleticism in this match. A lot of people who like the high fly. I'm just going to be honest with you. When I look at this list, and I've been very impressed with Chelsea Green over the last year. I really like Lyra Valkyrie, but it's Tiffany Stratton for me. Who should win this Money in the Bank. She looks like $1 million. She looks like a women's champion. Her match quality has been very good. There's a lot of storyline to be told, especially since she's kind of like Nia Jax's lackey right now. I can see that going a lot of ways. I really enjoy her. I think she is world champion material on the main roster. Tiffy time this Saturday. Tiffany Stratton, Money in the Bank. Tom.
So, to be a hypocrite, I don't think Tiffany Stratton should win because she's too over, even though I said I think Jey Uso should win because he is over. So for this one, I really think and not that she's not over, but it's in a different way. I think Chelsea Green needs to come out with this. I just think there's so much story and so much that will develop with her having the briefcase that there's so much more that they can do with the division, with everything that's going on. That makes more sense to me than Tiffany, who I think should challenge for the title and win it in the near future. I would rather see her go that route than to carry the briefcase. It's just one of those things. In this instance, I feel like somebody that has this briefcase needs to be somebody who rubs it in everybody's faces and is over the top with it. You know, just the whole 9 yards with the Money in the Bank, especially if what comes true with the men's, that I think one of them at least needs to be somebody that's going to carry that story a lot further and want to cheat to win. And instead of, obviously a lot of times if a babyface wins, they actually decide when they're going to cash in and they let them know and things like that. So I go on a little bit hypocritical there. But for those reasons, that's why I think it should be Chelsea.
I like Chelsea. I'll be okay with Chelsea winning it. Aaron?
Yeah, so I'm hoping Chelsea in this one. Aaron, I agree with you about Tiffany Stratton. To your point, she is definitely looks like $1 million, like you mentioned. Definitely world champion material. And, I hate to say it, and some people might hate me saying this, but, she reminds me a lot of Charlotte with her athleticism and her look. Not just because she's a blonde, but she's got some of the same move sets as what Charlotte has. So I really see a lot of similarities there. We're definitely going to see Tiffany, whichever she would like to go by, as a champion very soon, I think. But I'm really hoping Chelsea comes out with this one due to the fact, a lot of the reasons Tom just mentioned, Chelsea could be one of those that really holds that briefcase for a long time. And we're going to see her on episode after episode being one of the most annoying characters and the biggest heels by the time it's over with throughout this whole process. So we just never know. But, if it goes the other way, to your point, Aaron, with Tiffany, I could see Sonya Deville coming back and being a reason Chelsea loses, to bring back that story that never got finished.
Sonya is back. She's been messing with Baszler and Zoe Stark a little bit. A
Sure
couple
has.
weeks ago, she's kind of been gone for a couple weeks now. Uh, and then we get to the main event. I'm assuming this is the main event. I may be totally wrong. In a storyline that continues to deliver. I don't know if the WWE will ever have a storyline as long as the Bloodline storyline ever again, where there's so many factors that are involved. Paul Heyman this past week was fantastic. Fantastic. The whole element of Jimmy Uso now costing Jey Uso that title has made even more sense because he told Jey, I cost you the belt because when you become the tribal chief, you become corrupt. And now here's Solo, who thinks he's the tribal chief, becoming corrupt. This is setting up to be fantastic. Surely by Survivor Series, War Games, I need to see the new bloodline versus Roman, the Usos, and Sami Zayn. When Roman comes back, if they do it right, I think Jimmy should come out first, and it looks like he's outnumbered, and he just stands, and then Jey comes out, and then Sammy comes out, and then all their musics, of course, are playing, and then everyone knows Roman's coming. It's going to be huge. And then that's when The Rock can get involved and help the new blood. And that sets up Rock and Roll. But you got Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens versus 3 members of the new bloodline. I assume for sure it would be Solo and Tama. It's got to be Jacob Fatu. You don't put Tonga lower in that kind of match, right? It's got to be Jacob, who looks like $1,000,000 himself right now. He has really shaped his body fantastically since the last time I saw him in MLW. He looks great. He looks believable, almost that Umaga believable, where he's just a savage. And this match is going to go to the bloodline, in my opinion. It's the kind of the only way to go, and it will lead to Solo versus Cody at SummerSlam, 1-on-1. So I'm picking the bloodline. Tom.
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be the bloodline comes out on top. But I wonder, is this a moment where they start a little bit of friction between Randy and Cody? Doesn't have to be necessarily that Randy full blown turns on Cody, but is there going to be something that is that match? There's a little see that there could be a little tension there, somewhere where you can kind of see where Randy's maybe looking further down the line than just this match, that where they start to tell that story, something may happen, and that's going to end up costing that team the match, and the new bloodline go over.
I originally kind of thought, Orton and Cody at SummerSlam a while back, but it's not going to shock me if Solo takes the title from Cody.
It would shock me,
but it's not going to shock me at all, because the key would be for Roman to get that belt from Solo, if that's the case. I mean, it's not going to shock me at all if they kind of go that route. I know everyone would be mad. I mean, Cody can win it back before Mania, or whatever, kind of do that. And I guess it all goes down to what they going to do at Mania. Is it going to be Roman and The Rock, or is it going to be Rock and Cody? They've set the stage for both. So one needs the belt, and the other one probably has the belt involved in it. So I mean, give them credit. They've kept me interested for 2 years on this whole storyline. And just when you're getting tired of it, something happens and they pull you back in. So, Aaron, your prediction.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bloodline on this one. A lot of good stuff going on right now. Just when we think that we've seen the best Paul Heyman work of all time, that he's the best work he's doing, then we see it last week he does even better. Paul Heyman's a huge component in this, even though he's not a part of that Bloodline, lineage. He is huge in this, in every bit of it. So being that wise man, they definitely have the right guy for the job on that. But I definitely think Bloodline goes over on this one. And I think it's going to be a dominant one, honestly. I think it's going to be a dominant win for them. The Cody Randy thing could happen. I don't think it's going to happen this early, but it could. I could see more so Randy and KO getting into it a little bit to kind of get Randy away from the title picture, like some of us think could happen, and have Randy and KO do a little feud for a while. So it could go either way as far as that piece of it goes, but I still got to go with Bloodline in this. We can't get enough Bloodline right now. There's a lot that they keep throwing at us, and we still haven't seen another debut that I'm expecting anytime, which is Zilla. Anytime. I don't know if that's going to be NXT or if it's going to be main roster, just like Jacob. But Zilla is on the horizon somewhere. We just don't know when he's going to.
And I think they've signed Hikalu too. So, yeah. I mean, there's so many, and it's crazy that they can continuously bring it more and more. But yeah, should be a really good show. I don't see why this show should be terrible. It should be probably one of their best shows. WWE's so hot right now, so hot. All their shows are doing well. AEW had a really good show. I had a buddy in New York who went to the show and told me the crowd was legit hype. Stayed invested, even though it was almost midnight before it was over in New York. And Swerve Strickland continues to do fantastic things. May end up being the biggest one that got away from the WWE, before it's all said and done. But to be honest with you, I don't know if WWE would ever give him that shot. So good for him to go on there. And of course, we're getting close to All In. It's coming up, which is their WrestleMania. Let's be honest, it's their WrestleMania. So that should be a great show as well. We might have to do a little preview show for that one as we get kind of a little bit closer to that, as long as they don't have 27 matches on the card. So speaking of cards, though, September 14th, Hooligan Championship Wrestling returns. Evansville National Guard Armory in Evansville, Indiana. Tickets right now start at $8 until July the 8th. Okay, that's part of our 4th of July sale and special. And tickets are moving. I mean, they're moving really well for us. Our last show, like we said, was Ascending the Queendom, which was an all-women show. This time, it's men and women. We did have some people ask when the men were coming September 14th. And we're going to crown 2 champions on that night. We are. And I'm going to break some news right here. This gorgeous. It doesn't even do it justice. This gorgeous title right here is our Women's Heritage title. Women's Heritage title. And there will be rules to this. Okay? This isn't just like any other title. After 3 successful title defenses, this belt becomes just like a Money in the Bank. Anytime, anywhere. You've got to defend it successfully 3 times to activate that. And who's going to wrestle for that on September 14th? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Kylie Alexa versus Alice Crowley. 1-on-1 to see who's going to be the first ever Heritage Women's Champion. And if you came to our Ascending the Queendom show, those 2 ladies put on a fantastic showing for us. 2 of the more underrated performers right now on the indie scene, Alice Crowley and Kylie Alexa for the Women's Heritage Championship. Your opinions, guys?
I love it. But to your point, both of them did very well for us. The first show, crowd loved them. I'm looking forward to this September. Not just this match, but it's going to be a great show overall. I've got a favorite in this one, but I won't throw that out there right now. But anyway, I'm excited for it, and both great talents. So I'm glad to have them back.
Tom, your thoughts on the match?
It should be one of the matches of the night. Both of the ladies are at the top of their game. I could, the good thing for them, not so great thing for us is, these are both ladies that I could see any company deciding that they want to give them a shot at any time. They're that talented, and for them to meet together in the ring for this title, it's going to be a banger. To use the words that the kids say these days. But I feel it. I feel like this is going to be a match that could steal the show.
Yep. And again, we're going to crown another champion as well. And this Joker is huge. This is our men's world champion. And we have two of the best, most respected men in all of wrestling for probably like the last decade coming to us in Evansville, Indiana, and wrestle for it. When we're talking to both of these guys, they've known each other for over 15 years. They've shared the ring a few times. Never shared the ring when something of this nature is on the line. And it's Alex Zane versus the Iron Demon, Shane Mercer. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, both of them have a little bit different styles, which I think is going to clash together very well. And it should be a standout match for that title. It's one that I'm excited for very much so. And I hope that the people that do come to watch this show, they're going to get a treat with that match. Because like you said, they've known each other for a long time. And all the stakes are in this match. So they're going to go all out.
Yeah. So, if you guys have not seen these guys recently in any scene around the country or world at this point, it's going to be a treat. I can tell you that right now. Both are great. I just as recent seen Shane at a GCW show. Pretty awesome show that he put on there. Alex, of course, former NXT and such. So going to be some good talent there in Evansville, and this match is not going to disappoint. I have a feeling, and some good styles. That's going to be a good mix in that match. So looking forward to see who's going to come out as our new men's champion and move forward. But good luck to both.
Yep. And again, tickets are on sale right now. $8 is the starting price until July the 5th. Again, hopefully not. Card subject to change. Okay. It is the pro wrestling business. Things happen. But so far, so good for this show. Probably not knock on some wood here. We still have more matches to announce that we have not announced. But if you want to find out some more of the matches that we have announced, check out our Instagram or Facebook page, Hooligan Championship Wrestling. We've got all that listed. We have some fantastic talent returning. Eric Academia is coming back. We got the Stiff Robo Ginger, Gary J., who's a former guest of our show, who's making his Evansville. I think maybe is one of his first time in Evansville in a very long time. Evil Nate and the Black Dahlia versus Nick Depp and Mercy. It's a heck of a mixed tag match. Two of the more powered couples in duos right now, as far as pro wrestling goes, is those two. Should be a great night of action again. And we want to thank everyone again for all the great positive feedback we got. And some of the criticism we got on our Ascending to Queendom show, because that's how we get better, is by learning and trying to go. But we want to thank everyone for the support, all the sponsors who has already helped out with this show and our last show as well. Plan on putting on a very good show. September 14th again, Evansville, Indiana. Now, don't forget again about the Pro Wrestling Tees sale that's going on right now as well. It should start tomorrow, 20% off again. Check out some of our merchandise there. Go ahead and get it before the show. We will have merchandise at the show. It's an easy way to make sure that you can get the size guaranteed that you're going to want, because we had some sizes sell out very fast at the last show. And if you have not done so yet, pick up a copy of my new book, Natural Tales. Amazon, still waiting on Barnes and Nobles to release it as well, but Amazon right now has it. A Natural Tales. It's a collection of 11 short stories on the horror, mystery genre. So if you haven't got a copy of that yet, pick up a copy of that as well. Hit that subscribe button for us. We always appreciate it. As always, for myself, Tom, Aaron, you're not doing nothing this weekend, go out and watch some independent pro wrestling. There's some great pro wrestling everywhere. Go watch it. Not just ours, but go watch anybody who's having a show. There's a really good show in Evansville, running this weekend. Refocus is running on Saturday night in Evansville, and they've got 25 plus talents on that show. That's a loaded show. So if you're not doing nothing, if you're not doing nothing, go out and watch that show. And of course, buy our tickets as well. For myself, Tom, and Aaron, thank you all. Have a good night.